This is going to be a strange game. Florida at Mississippi State. So, full disclosure, we are pre-recording this pick show on Sunday night. I've got some family stuff to take care of on Monday morning. Can't do the show live. So, if something has happened, we will talk about that later in the day. I promise. But I don't know that something's going to happen. It sounds like things calmed down a little bit on Sunday, and it's probably status quo for Florida going into this game. But it is a noonish kickoff, a noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central kickoff in Starkville. And I got to tell you, Ari, the Gators don't have a great history in such games. There was a Steve Spurrier team that had a horrible one of those. Ron Zook got croomed in one of those. I was right there in the stadium, didn't even have to watch it on Jefferson Pilot. Like it has been a house of horrors for the Gators. That said, Davis Wade Stadium was a house of horrors for Mississippi State last week because Toledo came in and just beat the crap out of them. I have no idea what to think.
And now that we're all in the trust tree here.
Yeah.
Andy and I had a lot on our plate on Saturday. I did not get a chance to watch the Toledo Mississippi State game, and it's actually on my YouTube saved to catch up on that because I'm very fascinated by it. What the hell is going on there? I look at this number, and it's like I can't not pick Florida, right? I know things are bad. I know the team looked like they weren't really passionate in the first portion of the game. But I will say that Florida did seem to find some things or fight a little bit harder at the end of that game, the A&M game, at the end there, that maybe they go into the week feeling like they got some confidence. They're going to fight for their coach. They know the position that he's in. They're not going to not win by 5, right? Like, what?
Ari, I have no idea. Because here's the thing. Whether it's happened or not by the time they play on Saturday, the decision on Billy Napier has pretty much been made. I don't think there's a way out for him. So rallying the troops, beating Mississippi State, well, Jimbo Fisher will tell you what can happen after you beat Mississippi State because he got fired after he beat Mississippi State last year. So I don't know that it matters. They have an open date coming up. I can't tell you what will happen here because this Mississippi State team didn't look great against Arizona State. They have some athletes. Jeff Lebby did a decent job flipping the roster in terms of getting some athletes on the roster. Blake Shapen, we've seen him be good at quarterback at Baylor. We've seen him be mediocre at quarterback at Baylor. But they got absolutely dump trucked by a very well-coached Toledo team. Jason Candle does a very good job there. I don't know what to think of this one. Yes, Florida should cover this because while they are not good and probably not capable of winning against most of their schedule, they should be good enough to out-talent Mississippi State here. One would think at this point in Jeff Lebby's roster flip. One would think. All right, good night, Sunday. Caleb Williams threw for a yard because Prize Picks, nice enough to give us an almost free Caleb Williams square that I combined with a Jackson Dart square and a Luther Burden square, and it allowed me to win. Play 25, win 125, allowed me to break even on the weekend because, some of my other plays did not go as well as I'd hoped. But that Caleb Williams square every Saturday in September. I'm sorry, every weekend in September. They don't play on Saturdays, but every weekend in September, you get a 1 yard, 1 win Caleb Williams square. Prize Picks is the most fun daily fantasy game in America. You use the code STAPLES. You play $5, you get $50 instantly. How you do it? You pick squares. So you will say, I think Luther Burden's longest reception will be longer than 28.5 yards or shorter than 28.5 yards. And if you get that correct, you win that square. You pick at least 2. You can go up to 5. The more you pick, the higher the potential payout. It is a fun way to play. And man, Caleb Williams hooked me up Appreciate it. Thank you, Prize Picks, for that one. I felt very confident, and, well, partially because you allowed me to be confident. All right. Download Prize Picks. Use the code Staples. Play $5. Get $50.
Andy, we've talked a lot about Florida the last 48 hours. We've thought a lot about Florida. We've had some personal conversations about Florida in the car. When you talk about Florida and where they are right now and the situation that Billy Napier finds himself in, you're doing it in the context of the discussions in the context of comparing what Florida fans expect. We talk a lot about Georgia. We talk a lot about Alabama. We talk about the teams that we perceive to be on their tier. The fact that Georgia and Alabama outclass them in every way talent-wise is the reason why Billy Napier is getting fired. The question I have to you is, are we at a point where we're not sure if Florida is better than Mississippi State? Like, is that how bad it's gotten? Or is it like
I think, and this is one of the reasons why it's going to happen. Florida's playing a team on Florida's tier this weekend. Mississippi State and Florida are on the same tier. Florida hired Billy Napier to get them to a much higher tier, and he got them on a lower tier. That is why this is happening.
If you want to find a reason why to move on from a coach, just play that clip. I mean, just saying that and having to agree with it makes me like quiver. I mean, we went to the Miami game and we perceived them to be on that tier. And now we found that they're on Mississippi State's tier with this number. I understand they're on the road. I understand that, they have a coach that's in a really tough position that might not be salvageable. You're telling me right now, face-to-face on this podcast as we record this, that there are 4.5 points better and maybe not 4.5 points better than Mississippi State, a team that just got embarrassed by Toledo? Like, that's where we're at with this?
That's where we're at. That's where we're at. And look, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. We'll find out. Really, who knows what anything's going to look like? Because the players aren't dumb. They pay attention to all this stuff. They know what's going on. Now, I do think they've got to work. It's weird. It's almost like an end of the season NFL situation with a team that's not going to make the playoffs, where everybody's kind of playing for their own tape right now. And you have to decide as a player, how good do you want your tape to look?
Yeah, I always think me, I'm not a big Rudy guy. You know what I mean? Like, right. I don't know. I'm not a big rah-rah guy.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like when players play football, they want to play well. Like, if you're on the field and people are watching you, like, that's enough motivation. Your future is enough motivation to try to play well.
Most players are exactly like that. The vast
I don't think
majority.
That you need like a Billy Napier salvation story for Florida to want to win. Like, I think that people, when they play games, want to win. I get mad when I play NCAA online and someone's kicking my ass. Like, I get get really mad. It's like, I'm not trying to play professionally, it's just a pride thing. So
yeah,
I am picking Florida here because I cannot believe that we're even having this discussion. I knew for a fact that they weren't Alabama and Georgia. I knew for a fact, even going into the Miami game, they probably were going to lose that one. Well, knowing for a fact is a little much, but I had a hunch that was going to happen. I'm not ready to say that their roster is Mississippi State right now, especially because it's not just like Mississippi State that has the number 19 overall roster in the country. Like, this is Mississippi State in the middle of a transition. Like, this isn't even peak Mississippi State we're talking about here. Like, I'm not trying to crap on Mississippi State as a program. In fact, I think that they've done a really good job assembling rosters over the years. And I think that they're more talented as the cellar dweller of the SEC than a lot of middle upper class tier and other power conferences.
They also have had terrible luck. Like, their coach died. They were doing fine with Mike Leach and he passed away. And now they've had to deal with that. So I think Florida's going to cover this number. It's not going to change anything, but I do think they're going to cover this number.
I'm with you. I'm not ready to. I mean, if they don't,
you're
free next weekend.
Yeah, I will clear out my Sunday. There's no question about that. But yeah, it's I think the players themselves have enough pride in what they do to go out and win this game because they're certainly capable of it. Thanks so much for watching.
And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel wherever you listen to your podcasts and leave a 5-star review.